Hey everyone, this is Joshua Edley here. Today I'm going to show you how I made a plant monster. For this project, I will be using the animation software Blender, and I will be making the monster and the landscape in low poly. Now with all that, let's begin, shall we? Now first thing I'm going to start off with is the head, and that involves extruding and cutting this mesh in half, so that I can add a mirror modifier to basically make the entire development of this model much more easier for me. Now, I must confess, using this version of Blender is a little bit confusing on occasions, but it's only a minor inconvenience, fortunately, and it is actually really good for me to start learning how to properly use Blender again. Now what I'm doing at the moment is making just a basic jaw. I've got no design actually in mind. I haven't drawn this out. This is all just going to be completely within my head. This is just more of an exercise than actually a proper concept to model. Oh, and this is actually the point where I basically was trying to figure out why the loop tool wasn't working, and then I instantly remembered that I absolutely forgot to set the loop tool up. So basically I'm a dope and I have to basically do this all by hand at this point because I cannot be bothered to add the loop tool on. Next thing to work on is the legs, and I was thinking of doing something like a similar to that of a thorn or a satyr, but I wasn't entirely sure how it would turn out. Because of the fact that I was not doing it with any sort of concept art or any form of preparation to create this, I really was unsure how it would all come together, and that was the big thrill for me. I continued making the basic model until I reached to a point where I was a bit more satisfied with the model, and just about now, this is the entire model so far. What it is more or less is just the basic shape. And from this side view you can see what I did so far. My next job was to add like details like horns and anything else I wanted to add onto it. My first detail I'm doing is the eye. And now I'm cutting areas around the eye. The next thing I'm doing is molding the head. I'm going to basically keep cutting faces and making them just to... I wasn't really sure how the head was going to come out at this point. Next thing I did was to create an unnatural eye, and I just did that by basically dragging two of the faces forward and shrinking them. I then wanted to make add a bit of a maw onto it, like make this entire mouth larger and not very like a dinosaur's, but more like something similar to that of a whale. The next thing I did was sort out the arms and adjusted the fingers, and what I did here was that what I'm doing now is I'm just shaping the fingers, but earlier I also shaped the muscles as well. I wanted the fingers to look very similar to that of branches. My next focus is the tail, in which in my head, I had this thought in my head of making it look very similar to that of a tree branch, or something near to reptilian as well, a mixture between the two. I really like how I did these horns. They were very similar to that of antlers, to that of a of any sort of animal you know of would have antlers. And at the moment they don't look like that, but you'll see what they'll look like very soon. The next thing I started working on are these giant thorn-like spike horns on his back, and I was really happy with how they turned out. I think they worked out quite nicely, and yet again, I'm not doing a point on them for a very intentional reason. I felt like the neck needed a little bit of touching up, so I played around with the edges on the mesh until I was satisfied with it. Now that I was done with the modeling, I then had to think of whether it would be good with the subdivision surface or not. And this is why I also kept the horns the way they are as well. So I was either going to use this one or this one. I think you can see which one I'm using. That is all for this episode. Next episode we will be focusing on the colouring of the model, and then we'll be doing the set. So until then, this is Joshua Edley, and I'll see you later.